Once upon a time, a long time ago, in a faraway land called Ur of the Chaldeans, there lived a man named Abram. Yep, that was his name before God changed it to Abraham, but don't worry, we'll get to that part soon. A city full of statues. Abram lived in a big, busy city. But the people there didn't know the one true God. Instead, they made statues out of wood, stone, or gold, and they worshipped those statues. They gave them food. They sang songs to them. They prayed to them. But guess what? Those statues couldn't hear. They couldn't speak. They couldn't move, because they weren't real gods. Abram had big questions. Even though Abram had a lot of things, animals, land, servants, and even treasure, his heart still felt empty. At night, he would look up at the stars and think, Dar, who made all of this? The stars, the trees, the mountains, me? There must be someone real out there. He didn't know it yet. But the real God was about to speak to him. The night God spoke one quiet night, while Abram was looking at the stars, something amazing happened. God spoke to him, not with a scary voice, not like thunder. It was gentle, but powerful, loving, but strong. And Abram knew, deep in his heart, that it was really God. God said, Abram, leave your country. Leave your father's house. Go to the land I will show you. What? Leave everything behind? Then God made him a big promise. Dig. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name famous, and all the people of the world will be blessed through you. A journey of faith. The next morning, Abram told his wife Sarai, Sure, pack your bags. We're leaving. Sarai blinked. Where are we going? Abram smiled and said, I don't know yet, but God will show us. Wow, that takes a lot of trust. Abram didn't have a map. He didn't know the road, but he believed God, and that was enough. So off they went. They packed tents, camels, sheep, food, and brought along their helpers and nephew Lot. It was the start of a big journey, and God was leading the way. Living in tents, Abram and Sarai traveled through deserts, hills, rivers, and faraway lands. They didn't build a big house. They lived in tents. They didn't have a GPS. They had God. And whenever they reached a new place, Abram would stop, build an altar, and worship God. Because even though they were far from home, they were never alone. A promise under the stars. One night, God brought Abram outside and said, Tor, look at the sky. Can you count the stars? Abram looked up. There were so many, like tiny diamonds everywhere. That's how many children and grandchildren you'll have. More than the stars. But Abram was very old, and he didn't even have one child yet. And Sarai? She was old too. But still, Abram believed God. And that made God very, very happy. God promised, you will have a son, and through your family, the whole world will be blessed. Hint, that blessing was Jesus. But that's a story for another time. A new name. To show Abram that his promise was true, God gave him a new name. .com. You will no longer be called Abram. Now your name will be Abraham, which means father of many. And Sarai? God changed her name to Sarah, which means princess. Why? Because they were going to be the mother and father of a great nation, and kings would come from them. Abraham, God's friend. Abraham kept walking with God. He kept listening. He kept trusting, even when things were hard. And do you know what God called Abraham? His friend. Can you believe that? The creator of the universe had a friend named Abraham. And you know what? God wants you to be his friend too. What can we learn? Let's remember what Abraham did. He listened to God. He trusted God. He followed God. And he believed even when he didn't see the whole picture. And you can do the same. You don't need to be grown up to love God. God speaks through the Bible, through prayer, and in your heart. Bible verse to remember. Abram believed the Lord, and the Lord counted him as righteous because of his faith. Genesis 15:6. NLT. The end. Or maybe just the beginning of your own adventure with God.